Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back. In the last episode, I put in these air purifiers, which seem to be working just great. You can already see the whole area up here starting to go down in its level of pollution. I find it strange that it seems to be horizontal rather than in a radius, but whatever works. So what I'd like to do is surround the base with these air purifiers, excuse me. One issue I have though is using the transport drones. I only have one drone here, and I've got 569 air filters loaded into this depot. Which honestly will probably last until this series is over. I'm not quite sure why I get so much. Let's look at bonuses. Alright, looks like the mod doesn't upgrade this. I did upgrade the... Oh cool, we got construction robotics done. That's awesome. I did upgrade the drones a couple times. That was stack capacity 1. So does that mean they carry 2 stacks now? I don't know. Anyway, it's way too many. So I think what I'd like to do is... once I get logistics bots done, I think I'm going to convert this system to use bots rather than drones, just so I can keep the numbers reasonable. And knowing that it seems to take, it looks like at least 3 minutes or so to use a single filter, I think having 10 of these filter makers is probably a bit excessive. But in any case, I'm going to limit this to a single row of storage there. And then in between episodes, I set up a processing loop for the used filters. Right, so the dirty filters will go into this supply depot. I put in a request depot over here. Looks like there's one of the drones out picking some up to bring some back. So they'll come over here, they'll go into this machine, which will take a used pollution filter. It uses 100 units of water, and the output is a clean filter. No, I'm sorry, it uses 50 water. So one used filter plus 50 water gives you one clean filter plus 50 dirty water. All right, so I've got water connected here. So the dirty filters come in here, the clean filters come out here, and then I send them back across. Yeah, here comes the dirty filters. Okay, so it takes 10 seconds, and then clean filters will come out, and they'll output some dirty water. And then the clean filters I have going up this other belt here, and then they'll have priority to go in before additional new filters can go in. Because I don't want clean filters getting backed up. So hopefully that'll... Or I don't want dirty filters getting backed up. Okay, and then I have the dirty water coming down here into a tank, which goes into this filtration plant. The filtration plant takes 100 dirty water in, and then it outputs 100 clean water, plus a 30% chance for a piece of stone and a 10% chance for a piece of copper. All right, so we didn't get either one of those things that time. Let's see what happens on the next cycle. Yeah, still nothing. So I have had some stone come out. I also put some extra stone in here, so it just very slowly will generate some additional stone, and in this case copper ore. But you can change the recipe to give you iron ore instead. So you can choose either copper or iron as your 10% chance. The nice thing about it, though, is you get 100% clean water for the dirty water. So now that these pipes are primed with water, right? I've got 1800 water in this, clean water in this tank. So I think I can actually remove this freshwater pump. Since however much dirty water comes out, I'll always get the same amount of clean water, so it should be self-sustaining now. But what I will do is place a pump on this tank since the level is rather low. That way I'll make sure I keep those pipes filled. Okay, so this will be self-sustaining. And then I also put a request depot for dirty water so that later on when I create dirty water in other parts of the base, that can come here to be managed. So if we look up where, no, actually let me right click it. If we see where dirty water is generated, it gets generated from these filters. It can get generated from enriched iron and enriched copper, which I haven't gotten into yet, but probably should. And it looks like that's it. So let's add to our tasks, actually. Enriched ores. Because I think, I'm guessing that that's going to be a more efficient way to use the ores. So let's look at enriched iron, for example. So I can take 9 iron ore and 3 sulfuric acid and 25 water. So I can convert 9 iron plus a little bit of acid into enriched iron. 6 enriched iron. Enriched iron is 1-to-1 for plates. So I can get 1 plate for every enriched ore. Whereas the current recipe gives me 1 plate for 2 ore. Okay, so 9 ore. 9 ore would normally give me 4.5 plates. But if I enrich it, it'll give me 6 plates. So that's, what, a 33% improvement in output for just adding a little bit of sulfuric acid. I'm gonna guess that that is a net improvement because you need resources to make the acid. You actually need iron to make the acid. I need to install Factory Manager or something so that I can run the calculations and see that more clearly. I haven't done so yet, but I'll try to remember to add that mod at some point so we can look at those things and make a more informed comparison. Okay, so we've got bots available now. Let's see what the ingredients are. Batteries. I need batteries and I need electric engines. And for that, I am going to need lubricant for the engines. And for the batteries, I need acid, okay, which I've already got. Let's see what we need to make lubricant. Okay, just heavy oil like before. Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that, but I just lost my audio for a second. All right, so we need to get into advanced oil. All right, so let's do advanced oil first. And then we'll do robotics. And then we'll do more air purification. And then we'll do enriched ores. And my car should be around here somewhere. Here it is. All right, and let's see what we want to research next. Okay, we can do ducts, which are big pipes, basically. We can do portable generator Mark II, personal roboports, so that we can start using them instead of drones. I think we should work our way to laser turrets ASAP. We can do military 3. That sounds good. We could do advanced labs, which are the next level of labs we're going to need. So let's research that. And we'll leave it at that for now. And we'll just keep that research going. Okay, so for the advanced oil, I think what we're going to need are probably a lot of chemical plants and refineries. I've got 2 tanks full of petroleum right now, so I think at this stage, I think I'm just going to go ahead and deconstruct all of this. I'll leave the pipes full of petroleum. That's another few thousand petroleum gas that can get pumped into those tanks. And let's craft some chemical plants. I need to get some steel gear wheels for that. Let's just take a look at... I'm going to turn the pollution off. Okay, we're still doing okay down there. Yeah, steel gears I'm making up here. So let's grab some of those. And steel beams. I think I'm making automation cores somewhere as well. Yep, here they are. Here, let's shut that down. There we go. There's 50 chemical plants. And I got 13 refineries. Hopefully that'll be enough. How are we doing on pipes? I have a lot of undergrounds, but let me grab a few more stacks of regular pipe. And I don't think I need belts right now, but I'm running low, so let's go pick those up. I'm doing good on power poles and all that other stuff. All right, belts. Inserters. Okay, that all looks good. And I'll probably want to craft some fluid depots and storage tanks. Okay, so I need more steel plate. I'll grab a couple stacks of steel plates. And I'll grab some iron plate. Okay. All right. Alright, so we decided to make the refinery down there, so let's head over. Oh. Do want to make repairs. Okay, so let's start with the refineries themselves, and I will arrange them down here on the bottom. We'll see how many we can fit. All right. Heavy, light, and petroleum. And it looks like I'm going to need a pole in every position. And I'll put one light in every other one. Like that. Okay, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I think I'll stop at 10. And let's get this a little more centered. Like that. Okay. And then, did I finish ducts? Huge pipe with high throughput. Maybe we need to consider using ducts for oil at some point. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start pumping oil directly down there from my pump jacks rather than using the drones. We're fairly close, so we may as well. So let's make a huge storage tank that can bank up to 200K. And I will place it right here. The biters are getting frisky down there. All right, pumps. Where are my pumps at? Here we go. Okay, now this petroleum supply, or this oil supply, is for my weapons, basically, and one or two other uses. Okay, but I want my refineries to have priority. So I'm going to turn this pump on, let's say only when we have more than 10k oil. Okay. And then otherwise this pump will be on all the time, and this is what I'll pump over to my refineries. Nice. And there is 0 in the pipes. Why is that? I must have missed something. Ah, okay. There we go. All right. There's our oil. And then we need some agua, which we can get from the lake. Actually, let's take a more direct route. Okay. And then I can remove that, and that. Let's get this powered up. I'll leave that. No, let's not leave it. And then we can remove, whoops, that, and that. Okay. Now I'll make 3 large storage tanks for the outputs. And where do I want to place them? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's make them that far away. Where'd they go? Here we go. All right, so heavy oil goes there. Light oil goes there. Petroleum goes there. Actually, let's put petroleum over here, because that way I can have my output depot over here. Let's see if that's aligned. Yeah. Okay. And then we can have a fluid depot just there. There we go. All the petroleum you could want. Okay, let's make some lubricant. 2 of these, I suppose. And more fluid depots. Okay, there's our lubricant. And then we can add some logic here for the rest of the heavy oil. The rest of the heavy oil we will crack. Okay, so we'll say, actually, I think the cracking should be based on how much lubricant I have. Can I connect a wire to that? That is a bummer indeed. I should really have another pump there. Now, some people ask why I use pumps everywhere. It's just because when you're going from a tank into a pipe, the tank and the pipe are going to fill to the same relative level. So imagine, right here's a tank that holds 50,000. So let's say there's 1,000 lubricant in the tank. That's 2% full. It is naturally then going to fill the pipe coming out of it 2% full, which is only 2 out of 100. And that's going to give you a very slow flow rate from this tank into this tank, for example. Whereas if you use a pump, the pump is always going to try to empty out whatever is on the input side. So that way it's going to force all the lubricant through this tank and into this one. And then when this gets full, this tank will start to get filled up as well. Right, and that's why I use pumps a lot more than maybe some other people normally would, just because I just want the fluids to get forced through the system. I don't want to have to wait for some small percentage of stuff in the pipes to gradually work their way through, because the higher the fluid level of the pipe, the faster the flow rate through the pipe. So when the pipes are 100% full, you're going to get maximum flow rate. When they're less than 100%, you're going to get a proportional flow rate through those pipes. Okay. What else can I research? We can improve our weapons, projectile weapons. We can improve our flammables. We can research tanks. And we may as well do some energy weapon upgrades. I'm not too concerned about inserter capacity bonus right now. I can do more inventory size. So let's go ahead and work on those now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do... Right, we know that this tank already can hold... The fluid depot holds... What is it? 20... Is it 25K? It doesn't say. Maybe it's 20K. Yeah, the fluid depot holds 20K. All right, so I'll say that as long as this lubricant tank has more than 0, then we can activate the cracking. Because if it's greater than 0, then that means that my depot is full already. And there goes my audio again. I have an interface that's connected by USB, and I think that is probably the source of that USB disconnect thing happening every once in a while. So I'm going to try to connect this to a different port next time. I think it's connected to a USB 2 port. I'll try connecting it to one of the 3 ports, and that'll help narrow this problem down for the tech guys who still haven't called me. All right, I'm going to move this over. And actually, let's make this greater than 500. That way, it'll hopefully not just be constantly fluctuating every time some lubricant just passes through on its way to this. You know what I mean? All right. And then we need to get some water up here. Where do I want to pass water up? Okay, let's do it right here. Make some repairs down there. It would be cool if I could put construction drones around here, but I guess they're only for personal use, as far as I know. I don't think there's any construction drone depot. Okay, and then this will provide light oil on the output, which should then go into this tank. So I'll feed this in over here. And I'm just coming around the back here because I want to have another pump on the output side here. Okay. And what do we want to make from the light oil? Let's see where light oil is used. It is used to crack into petroleum, obviously. It's used to make solid fuel. It's used to make fuel, rocket fuel, and and it's used in coal liquefaction rather than heavy oil. That's interesting. And we can also burn light oil if we just want to get rid of some of it. But I don't think we'll need to do that as long as we got petroleum. All right, now let's we need to check our ratios. So I've got 10 refineries here. They're making 25 heavy every 5 seconds. 250 heavy every 5 seconds. I'm making 50 heavy per second for my refineries. And here I can use 40 every 2 seconds times 2, 80 every 2 seconds. That's only 40 per second. So I actually need another one of these machines. So that if and when I don't need any heavy oil at all, I can use it all up by turning it into light oil. Okay. Light oil, I'm making 450 every 5 seconds, which is 90 per second, right? Yeah. Okay, so we need enough light oil cracking to take care of 90 per second. I'll put this one right here. All right, and that uses 30 every 2. So I need 6 of these to burn up 90 per second. Right? Yeah. That's 2. Oops. 4, 6. Okay, and then I'm going to put a pump on the output there, and I'm going to force that into my petroleum tank. I've given myself a bit of a problem here. There, we'll just... There we go. Okay, so the ratio is not quite exact, but pretty close to 10 to 3 to 6 for refining to cracking. Which is a little more... In vanilla, I think it's, what is it, 7 to 1 to 6, I think. So it seems like we get a lot more heavy oil. Seems like we get more heavy oil from this process in Krastorio 2. We get a little more petroleum. What was... and interestingly, petroleum gas, this is actually an icon for a gas, not a liquid. I mean, I always think of it as a liquid. I think it is a liquid. But here in this game, you get an icon that's similar to other gases in the game. Yeah, so basic processing takes 100 crude and gives you 45 petroleum. Advanced processing gives you 55 petroleum plus the oils for 100 crude. So definitely a better way to make petroleum. And then, of course, you have all the light oil. You can turn it petroleum and into petroleum. Oh, and let's look at the solid fuel recipe, because maybe that's going to be a better fuel than Coke. Fuel pollution, 150 from solid fuel. So maybe I should start making solid fuel and slowly replace that for my fuel of choice. Start replacing the Coke. I think I ought to do that. So solid fuel, let's see. All right, in this game too, it's still better to make solid fuel from light oil, because you only need 10 light oil to make a piece of solid fuel versus 20 petroleum or 20 heavy. So it's more efficient to make it from light oil. All right, and then what I'm going to want to do is, let's get a signal wire from my petroleum tank. And I'm going to have to run it around the outside here. So what I'll do is I'll set this up so that I pump light oil to turn into solid fuel when my petroleum tank is full, because that means I don't need the light oil to turn into petroleum. Oh, and I need another pump. I'll just go ahead and make a couple handfuls. Alright, so we'll turn this on when petroleum gas is greater than or equal to 49.5, let's say. That'll be basically full. And I think the other thing I'm going to do, speaking of pumps, let's put some pumps on my outputs from the refineries as well. This one is perfectly placed to not be in a power field. And we'll put a pump over here as well. There. Okay, and this is currently turned on. So let's set up some, I'll leave a little room there, and we'll set up some chemical plants here. I don't think I can make the advanced chemical plants yet. No, I cannot. I should probably make some fuel too that I can use in my vehicles. Yeah, I can make it directly from light oil. Okay, so let's dedicate one of these to make fuel. I don't see. Oh, I need the fuel refinery for that. I think I have one of those. It's probably in my car. Let's make a single fuel refinery. And I think that fuel is, as far as I know, that's only used for vehicles. $10 fuel from 6 plus hydrogen, or 10 fuel from 60. Okay, it's the same. Is it? 60 light oil makes 10 fuel. Or 6 solid fuel plus 50 hydrogen makes 10 fuel. Well, 60 light oil makes 6 solid fuel. So why would you want that recipe? I guess it's just if you have a lot of solid fuel sitting around, right? Okay, and then I'll throw a supply depot down over here. And we'll make fuel for the vehicles. I'll just leave it at 2 stacks for now. Let me check my car. Yeah, I still have 121 fuel in there. Okay, and then the rest will turn into solid fuel. Actually, let's just make these adjacent. How many? I don't know. Let's say 6. That looks like 6. Whoops. Shift L. There we go. Hello. Another audio drop. Well, the good news is that I wasn't getting an audio drop before when I had my interface plugged into a different USB port, so I think this is narrowing things down. Okay. And now we're making solid fuel. I'm thinking we just let this fill up. All right, what this can use... This uses 5 light oil per second. And I'm making 90 per second, right? 450 divided by 5, 90 per second. So let's set this up to consume 90 per second. This is consuming 5 per second each. So I need 18. Can I fit 18 across? Yeah, I think I can. That's 3 times 6, right? So there's 6, 12, 18. There. That way we can consume all of the light oil that my refineries can make. We can also consume all the light oil my refineries can make here to make more petroleum. Over here we can consume all the heavy oil my refineries can make. Now what about the lubricant? 10 heavy oil. No. The lubricant factory can't consume all the heavy oil my factory can make. Heavy oil production is 250, 50 per second. I need 3 more of these. And I don't have the room for it. Shoot. All right, let's try. That. Let's just make sure. Okay, yeah, these are all getting heavy oil. The water is flowing through. We need another pipe. Welcome back. We need another light oil pipe here. For cracking. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, these are just filling up the pipes over here. The tank is full, but these are running because since I moved it, the pipes got emptied. Okay. Now the only problem with this is that I'm only going to get more solid fuel if I'm also using petroleum. Because once the petroleum tank is full, my refineries are going to shut down. So if I use a lot of solid fuel, we could potentially run into a situation where where I run out of solid fuel and I'm not making any more because I don't need any more petroleum. So the other thing that we would need is I can make solid fuel from petroleum. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Okay, so if this chest fills up, then I know that this is full. Right, and we could probably even just do it with a single stack. Oops. Okay, so how many chemical plants do I need to make solid fuel from all the petroleum that I'm making? I'm going to be making 110, right? 55 times 10 is 550 divided by 5. That's 110. I'm making 110 petroleum per second. That means I need 11 machines to turn it all into solid fuel. Okay, so what I will say is that if the petroleum tank is full and this chest is empty, then I'll make solid fuel from petroleum. So let me make a couple of combinators because I need to make a decision based on two different factors, two different variables. All right, so one of these is going to get the red signal from here. Okay, and we'll say if solid fuel is less than, what's my stack size? If it's less than one stack, 50. All right, so if solid fuel is less than 50 in that chest, then I will crank some out from the petroleum. Oh, less than 50. Then I'm going to output my green go signal with a 1. Okay. And if my petroleum gas signal is greater than, again, we'll say 45,900 just because tanks often don't fill to 100% of their capacity. Then I'll put another green signal. And then I'll feed both of those green signals to the pump. And this pump will turn on when green equals 2. As it is right now. Or as it was. Okay, and that'll give me... That way I'll use up petroleum to make more solid fuel. Because I'm using petroleum, the refineries will run. That'll generate more light oil, which will also give me more solid fuel. All right, so this way it'll never stop. The only time the refinery will stop running is if the petroleum tank is full and the solid fuel depot is also full. And if that occurs, then it'll stop, which is fine because at that point we won't really need anything. As long as we're not using tons of lubricant. I mean, if I run out of lubricant and that other stuff is full, I think that'll be a pretty unusual situation. It could happen, I suppose. And if it does, then we can figure out something to get more to get more heavy oil made. At that point, we would probably have to burn off light oil. Or maybe I can use, let's see what else petroleum's used for. Plastic. Oh man, it's used for lots of stuff. Sulfur, matter cubes. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is all the stuff that you transport. So I've got a zillion recipes calling for petroleum gas to transport every item in the game. Ugh. All right. Okay, so now it's backed up. So this should be... Yeah, so the pump is turned off now. You can see there's a red light on it. It'll consume whatever's left in this pipeline here. And then it'll eventually stop. And then we won't make any more solid fuel from petroleum unless we start to use more of it. You know, I think it would actually be nice to have another condition to where it runs when light oil is also empty. Because I'd rather make it from light oil. So let's add another condition to that. So let's make another combinator. I need more red wires. All right, I'm gonna delete this connection. There we go. That way we'll also get the light oil signal coming to this pole. And I can feed that here. Okay, so this time we'll say if light oil is less than, let's say 1,000, then we'll put out yet another green signal. Okay, and then we're going to turn this on when it's equal to 3 instead of 2, because now we want 3 conditions being met. Okay, so it's once again turned off because we don't need any solid fuel. All right, so now if the solid fuel is not full, and if we have all the petroleum that we need, and if we don't have any light oil to make solid fuel, then we will make solid fuel from petroleum. Great. Hope that makes sense. All right. So, advanced refinery, done. Now we can get into robots. Cool. I'm pretty happy with this little setup here. I think this will work well. And then in the future, if I need more refining capacity, I will copy this. In fact, if I need more refining capacity, I'll copy the refineries and I'll copy the cracking, and that'll be it. And I could probably fit 2 or maybe even 3 of those in a single grid section, because I don't think I'll need more lubricant or solid fuel production than what I've got here right now. So this will be kind of like this will be the one where we're making solid fuel and stuff. And then if I need more refinery capacity later, in fact, we can even just set aside this one. We'll reserve this square for more refining, just in case we need it later. I canceled. Refinery, confirm. Okay, and if that's the case, then we'll just make additional rows of 10 refineries, 3 heavy oil cracking, 6 light oil cracking, and we can, if we're more compact, we can probably fit 3 or 4 of those in this grid up here. And I'm sure that'll give us more than what we need. We might not need it. Okay, well, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. I appreciate it as always, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.